So I hate to say it, but college football, it's gotten too regional. Stay tuned to find out why. What is up, guys? I hope you're having a wonderful and blessed day. I know that I am. So we're fresh off the college football championships where, in case you didn't know, Clemson beat Alabama. And there may be a lot of you who don't know. That's part of the reason I'm saying that college football has gotten too regional. So let me give a full, quick disclaimer. By no means is this video to bash the Bama fans, bash Clemson fans, to praise Bama, to praise Clemson. I just want to lay out my reasoning and why I think that college football is headed down a path that, well, quite frankly, we don't want to be on. College football needs sponsorships, and sponsorships come from large markets. So today I kind of want to talk about where I think that college football is headed, some of the changes that I hope take place. But without further ado, let's get into it. All right, guys. So right off the bat, as you may or may not know, Clemson won the college football national championship. A little bit of a blowout. I won't say that it was necessarily a surprise that Clemson won, because they were definitely good enough to win. I think what was more of a surprise is the fact that Bama got blown out, which does not happen. But at any rate, like I said, video is not to talk about the nuts and the bolts of who won, who didn't win, not to bash any of the schools. This is more of, I just feel like college football has gotten regional. And so what I mean by that is, let's just take a look at that game from the numbers aspect of it. So for those of you who don't know, it was in Levi Stadium, which that's in San Francisco. Clemson is located in South Carolina. Obviously, University of Alabama is in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Both of those schools are kind of southeast. San Francisco, West Coast. So there's a huge difference going from East Coast to West Coast. So a lot of the local fans, obviously they're on one side of the United States while the game is being played on the other side of the United States. Big time difference there. You're going from Pacific to Eastern time. So those things definitely played into that. I was surprised there was some empty seats in that stadium. I don't believe that it was a sellout. You can correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments section, but I don't believe that it was a sellout. Another thing which people may or may not remember, when Levi Stadium first opened up, the field, it was a Chicago Bears, San Francisco 49ers game. The turf on that field was atrocious. And if I remember correctly, they had to actually remove it and redo the field. And it still really hasn't been fixed. There's been plenty of other players and coaches, not just collegiate level, but professional NFL level as well, that have complained about that field. So kind of an odd choice. I know San Francisco is a larger city, but it's not, say, Dallas, LA, Chicago, New York, more of those bigger hotbeds. And that leads me to my next point, guys. So college football, if we look at the last, well, I guess really since the playoffs started, it started in 2014. So the very first one, Ohio State, Oregon. Okay, so we have a Big Ten team from the middle of the country versus a Pac-12 team from the West Coast. Great. Then from there on, it's basically a Bama-Clemson show, minus having Georgia thrown in there once. So it was Bama-Clemson, it's Clemson-Bama, Bama-Georgia, Clemson-Bama. So 3 out of the last 5 have been a Clemson-Bama show. And again, I'm not knocking that. That's what those guys get paid to do. They get paid to bring in the best recruits and put the best team out on the field. And I do believe that this year, Clemson and Bama were by far the 2 best teams. Obviously, I'm a Texas fan. A lot of you may throw in Georgia, and that Georgia should have been playing in that playoff instead of Oklahoma. But, you know, Texas ended up beating Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. Again, I'm not here to congratulate or put down any team in any way whatsoever. I'm just clearly stating the facts and the reason that I think that college football needs a change. I'm a big proponent for expanding the playoff. I think that would help bring in some of those other markets. Now, I know there's going to be a whole side argument of like, well, those teams just need to step it up and recruit better. I agree. But in college football, it's very hard. Like, once that snowball effect starts, like you take Bama, for instance. Bama is going to get recruits no matter what, because Saban, they have built that culture. And it takes time. It takes years to do that. It doesn't happen overnight. But My next point, the viewership rating on that game was low. And that could be chalked up to a couple of reasons. One, everybody's tuning in, and then when they start to see that it's getting away in a blowout, your casual fans will drop off. I'm not talking about us diehard football fans. We're going to watch it no matter what because, it's the national championship. It's single-handedly the most important college football game of the year. That's what you play for. Even if your team's not in it, if you're a college football fan, you're tuning in. But the ratings on that, sorry, I'm taking some notes here, 14.6 overnight rating. That was the lowest since 2012, which 2012's championship was the LSU-Alabama championship. But again, guys, I think part of it is, one, we've already seen this. This will be the third iteration, Clemson, Bama. So third iteration of that. Again, there was a blowout score, so your casual fans are going to jump ship. Obviously, last year's when Georgia and Bama went into overtime and Tua had the comeback of a lifetime. Obviously, the ratings on that's going to be through the roof because it was an epic finish to a game. There's excitement there. But anyway, I just feel like college football has gotten too regional. And if you look at it, obviously the South, football is huge in the South, guys. For those of you who aren't from the South, it's a whole different breed in the South when it comes to football. Football is life. Especially me being from Texas, football is king, period. So, like I said, people from the South are going to tune in even if their teams are in it because they just love football. And again, I'm not saying other parts of the United States don't love their football, but they take it to the next level in the South. So, football is king. I just feel like we need to expand the playoff. I mean, you're going to have to bring in some of these other teams. There's too many markets. You look at the Pac-12. Pac-12 has been down for quite a while. When USC kind of got dethroned, Oregon fell off, there's not really been a Pac-12 team to seriously compete. Now, I know that, like I said, Oregon ended up playing Ohio State in that first one, but since then, it's been nothing. In fact, the Pac-12 championship game was in Levi Stadium. I'll throw up a picture right now. That was 6 minutes before kickoff. Look at how many empty seats there are. Now, granted, it was Utah, Washington, which, again, I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes, but those are smaller football markets. Had it have been, a USC, a Cal, a Stanford, even Oregon, those are going to draw those crowds. So, Pac-12's been down. Big Ten this year, really, outside of, I guess you could say, two teams, Michigan, Ohio State, and then, Michigan ended up having their collapse against Ohio State. But for the most part, it's been definitely those southeastern teams, SEC mainly, and don't get me wrong, I'm going to have those guys who are like, SEC's king, SEC this. I get it. The Southeast, and I'm going to even include Texas in this as well, because Texas is a big market. The Austin football market, Texas could go 0 for the next 3 years, and they're still going to sell tickets. People are still going to show up because it's just Texas football. So those markets are a guarantee. I'm talking about being able to pull in those non-diehard fans. We need those casual fans to drive ratings to be able to keep this thing sustainable. Because what's going to happen is the more people that tune out, there's going to be less money involved in college football. When there's less money, you're not going to have these games being played in these elaborate stadiums. They're not going to have the money to spend. Bringing in a larger playoff and having more marquee matchups, I believe, is going to help on two things. It's going to bring in more money because we know right now that the bowl games, the reason that they have all of these bowl games, the Home Depot Crapper Bowl, the reason they have that is because it brings in money. Not because we want to see, Northeastern State Community College play, whoever, but because it brings in money. That's why they have them. So I think if we put more into it, and I'm not saying bring the playoffs to where it's like a 16-team playoff, but I do think that every Power 5 conference champion should be in the playoff and have a shot. You're in those big conferences, you play harder, better skilled opponents on a week-in, week-out basis, so I think you should have a shot. And, as well as I do, if you watch the NFL, it's all about the playoffs. It doesn't matter what your record is. As long as you get in, it's 0-0. Everybody's record's the same. It's win one and move on, or lose and go home. and that's what makes the playoffs great. All right, guys, that's enough of me rambling. Like I said, get in the comment section. I know this is going to be a hotbed topic because a lot of people love their football, especially college football. I know that I do. So jump down in the comment section for me. Let me know your thoughts. Let me hear your thoughts about the playoff. What do you think the playoff should look like? Again, guys, I thank you all so much. This channel has really taken off faster than I would have ever projected it to. You guys are killing it. My views are going through the roof, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. Turn the bell notification on. That way you know when my next video comes out. Smash the like button. That way I know you like this content, and I'll keep coming out with more. All right, guys, that's all I got for this one. I'm out.
We'll be right back.